Gujarat model now a myth? Taking you through news coming in on the IAF fighter jet that has crashed, the Jaguar jet that crashed with 2 of its pilots dead. Now, lots of questions raised about those jets and aircrafts that have been as part of our fleet for several decades. Is it now time to get them off our fleet of the Indian Air Force? Of course, we have our deep dive segment on Maharashtra assault, where the MLA in Maharashtra decided to beat up a canteen cook because he didn't like the food he was served. I'll take you through all those updates. As always, the headlines. An IAF Jaguar trainee crashes near Churu, Rajasthan. Both pilots have been killed in third such crash this year. The Court of Inquiry ordered, and of course IAF mourning the loss of deaths, but several questions raised on these redundant Jaguar jets. Should this still be part of our fleet? After receiving Brazil's highest civilian award, Prime Minister Modi receives Namibia's highest civilian honor during landmark state visit, awarded Order of the Most Ancient Welwishia Maribilis Award. Modi calls it a pride for 140 crore Indians. India races to halt execution of Kerala nurse Nimisha Priya in Yemen. CPIM MP urges Jaishankar's urgent intervention before July 16th deadline. Nimisha Priya was convicted of murdering her Yemeni business partner in July 2017, was sentenced to death by the Yemeni court in 2020. Darjeeling, West Bengal. We saw tense scenes there as TMC along with trade union leaders clashing during the Bharat Bandh that was launched nationwide. In fact, the trade union protest that was launched across the country wanted to highlight the plight of workers against corporates, blaming the centre and policies, saying it's pro-corporates, and the traders, middle class, poor, are really the ones suffering. They want a way out of this. Shiv Sena MLA assaulting a canteen staff over bad food. The FDA raids the very canteen where the assault happened. But the question is, what happens to that Neta who assaulted that staffer? Will he be taken into custody? Tata Sons Chairman N. Chandrasekaran meets Mamata Banerjee at Nabana for fresh Bengal investment push. In fact, this comes after Tata was asked to exit the state over Singur protest against the making of nano factory. This return by Tata Group marks big industrial win for Mamata Banerjee. Pakistani actress Humaira Asghar has been found dead in Karachi apartment. In fact, weeks later, her body was found. Neighbours alerted the cops after they smelled something foul. Police broke in only to recover her decomposed body. The motive and the killer yet to be established. Starlink gets final space regulator nod to operate in India. After 2-year wait, Elon Musk's firm becomes the third after OneWeb Geo. Musk's Starlink now to be launching in India very soon. And Delhi braces for heavy rains as IMD issues a red alert owing to thunderstorms and gusty winds. The forecast predicts that cloud bands moving east may bring in fact moderate to heavy showers and lightning. In fact, today has been quite heavy for Delhi. This will continue for the next few days. All right, let me cut across to our big story here. The bridge collapse in Gujarat that has unfortunately killed 12 people. At least 12 people have died, including a child, after a portion of the Gambira bridge collapsed this morning in Gujarat's Vadodara district. Vehicles and trucks, including bikes, a pickup van, even a car that plunged into the Mahisagar River as that 40-year-old bridge gave way so quickly in seconds after it shook. it fell apart. It was a busy hour, in fact. People were on their way either to work, deliveries, whatever it was. Even a child died, so I'm assuming one was going to school as well. And then instantly, cars were seen and vehicles were seen plunging into that river. Screams and chaos, metal coming crashing down. Lives were lost in an instant. This bridge was built in 1985. For years, locals said that it shook dangerously whenever heavy vehicles crossed that very path. In fact, complaints were filed, warnings were raised, a new bridge was even sanctioned, but as we see here, the old one, or rather this very one that collapsed, was allowed to function. It was open for vehicles to ply, while the same government had already noticed that this was unfit for use. Yet no one acted. Fishermen nearby we hear were the first responders. They rushed their boats. They heard a big thud, and to turn around to see vehicles plunging into the river. They rushed their boats to try and rescue them. But according to the fishermen, they say hardly anyone survived. Whoever fell into the water with their vehicles died. And this is not one-off. This is a pattern that we are seeing in Gujarat. Just last year, the Palanpur bridge collapse killed 3 people in Gujarat. In fact, the Palanpur bridge that happened in 2023, there you have it, visuals of the Palanpur bridge, 2023 October, it killed 3 people. The contractor had been blacklisted in 2016 and 2017, but yet that same contractor came back to carry out this work for this very bridge in 2023, and as expected, it collapsed. They were still allowed to function. That was a big question, why? Now, before that, the Morbi bridge. In October 2022, the Morbi bridge that collapsed, 140 people died of it, 180 were injured. In fact, the heritage structure, the Morbi bridge, it had rusted cables. It was, we hear, a bridge that again had work that had been done on it very recently, but still, despite all those flooring work that had actually happened on that bridge, it acted as if extra weight was added onto that bridge, not done scientifically. Therefore, it came crashing down, basically exposing how unscientific structures have come up, putting public life in danger. How many more lives to be lost before these people really learn a lesson? Now, in this latest tragedy, the government had already identified the bridge as risky, and MLA had also recommended a new structure be built. Survey work had also begun. Then the big question is, why wasn't that old bridge closed down? What's the point of planning a new bridge in the first place if the old death trap is still open to public? Here you have images there showing you of how vehicles had plunged into water. In fact, the state government has announced 4 lakh rupees in compensation, 50,000 to those people who have been injured. Prime Minister Modi, of course, giving out his condolences to those deceased, has announced 2 lakhs from the centre as compensation and 50,000 to those injured. But is compensation really enough? Has apathy here been normalized? We're looking at the Gujarat model now being exposed, sadly, at the cost of people's lives. This is no accident. This is sheer poor maintenance. No audits were done. Substandard material probably used, which is now giving way 40 years later. But anyway, audits are supposed to be done. Timely checks are supposed to be carried out. In fact, contractors who carry out shoddy work need to be blacklisted. They can't be invited back again to carry out another construction. Visible cracks we hear on this very Gambira bridge were highlighted, but yet there was not much that was done to stop traffic flow. They noticed that yes, there were cracks on it. The officials did notice cracks on it. They even promised that a new bridge will be built, but they did not block off traffic from actually plying through that very bridge. And today we see, very sad, 12 people have died, including a child. Now let me bring in our panelists here. Joining me are Ajay Umat, Group Editor, Ahmedabad Mirror. Thank you very much, sir. We have H.S. Sancheti, former Chief Town Planner, Government of Rajasthan. As of course people here demanding answers, I would like to bring in our town planner who's been very integral in building and approving structures of this kind, H.S. Sancheti. Could you tell us what really went wrong here? The Gambhira bridge in Gujarat's Vadodara was shaky from the start. It's been years now that locals have alerted the officials that there are cracks there, but yet vehicles were allowed to ply.
This is very sad that this bridge is collapsed. It was constructed in 1985. 40 years have passed. Now it is collapsed due to the negligence of the concerned agencies, or we can say the state. Regular checking, regular inspection is very necessary. What kind of structure was there? If it is not regularly checked, that it may fall at any time. I don't think there was any pressure of the vehicles and the people's movement. Still, it is fell down. It means there was a very, very technical fault of this bridge, and it should have been vehicles should have been stopped here, and government, very beginning government or the concerned agency should have declared it is not a functional bridge. Secondly, the state government has, I think, sanctioned another bridge, and they have sanctioned the 200 crores rupees. So this is, I think, this is the fault of the government and the concerned agency. Whenever we talk about the planning of the new bridge, means type of bridge, what kind of river flow, river capacity, river span, and design, structural design, and its foundation. So all activities should be priorly examined before we construct any new bridge. Special planning and techniques are required. Hydrological study of that particular river and the particular environs should also be done regularly. Geotechnical inspection is also essential. Means the soil, rock, bearing capacity of that concerned soil and the rocks is also very essential. So these are the basic facts of the when we construct any bridge, we have to follow these. This is the process. Now the environment impact should also be seen. What kind of environment will have an impact on constructing this bridge? That is also very important. Now, once we construct the bridge, then...
Just a moment, sir. Before you continue, I'd like to ask a very pertinent question here, which I still feel has no answers to. Ajay Umat, if you could tell us, if this very bridge was already declared structurally unsafe, why was it not decommissioned immediately in your view? Who had the authority in the first place here to in fact, carry out traffic flow on this bridge while they had already sanctioned a new bridge, knowing very well there were cracks?
Look, in 2020-21, there was a heavy flood in Mahisagar River, and after that flood was over, members of Congress party and all opposition party members, they raised this issue in assembly. This I am talking to you 2020 and 2021. In 2022, a rigorous inspection was done about this bridge, and it was said that, this structure is not safe, and they said that, we need to do periodical checking of this bridge. As Mr. Sancheti was saying, in Gujarat, there is a template which says that, pre-monsoon and post-monsoon checkup of all the bridges should be done. It was not done in this case, and after rigorous inspection, it was found that, maintenance, design, wear and tear, and the load bearing capacity of this bridge and strength of the bridge was only at the level of 20 to 25%. Another problem was that after another road network has joined this bridge, that was the reason that from Saurashtra region of Gujarat, if you want to go from Saurashtra to South Gujarat via that road to Mumbai, this was the shortest route, and this was a route where you need to pay very, very less toll. If you go to express highway, if you go to national highway, you have to pay toll tax at 4 places. Whereas all the truck owners who were plying their trucks from Kandla port, from Mundra port, from Jamnagar refineries, they were taking this route because there was no traffic jam on this road. So this after rigorous inspection, agency has suggested that heavy vehicles, particularly bearing vehicles, tankers, big trucks should not be allowed, and a barrier should be kept on that bridge so that only light motor vehicles can fly over that bridge, because they have raised this issue that this should not be allowed. In March 2025, this year, during budget session, so many MLAs have raised issue, and government has said that at the cost of 213 crore, we will have new bridge adjoining to this place. But at the time also concerns were raised that this bridge should not be allowed. Now today Collector Baroda has declared nearby 3 bridges as dangerous bridges, and they said that no big vehicle can fly over that bridge. That means
declared it today
on part of collector today only. So it was a negligence on part of collector office, on the part of road and building office, and also secretariat Gandhinagar should be blamed that only action was inaction when that there was no traffic sensors done, despite agency has suggested that you should do traffic sensors, and this multi-axle vehicle should not be allowed. This tanker which you are showing, in a very delicately, precariously positioned. Look at this bridge. Look at this tanker in your video footage. It shows, that it is a 24-wheel multi-axle vehicle. Now, this bridge was not designed to have such kind of heavy vehicle.
Absolutely.
It should not be more than 15 to 20 tons. So it was wrong ab initio.
Sir, I'd like to ask you, looking at the number of instances, Morbi, Palampur, if we could show our visuals on the screens there of the 2 episodes there that have happened, multiple bridge collapses. In fact, we're looking at Araria, a bridge collapse that happened in, these are visuals that we're showing from all across India, but speaking specifically of Gujarat, that's Palampur, there you have it, where in 2023, a bridge collapsed with the same contractors who were banned in 2016. They were brought back to construct this bridge. I'd like to ask you here, is Gujarat at this point facing a systematic collapse when it comes to infrastructure governance?
This is nothing but corruption. There is a nexus of corruption between bureaucrats, between contractors and political leaders. Otherwise, this should not have happened. In Ahmedabad, I can give you an example. In our Ahmedabad city, Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation limit, they found a Hatkeswar bridge. And that bridge was constructed before 5 years, and they found that the strength of that bridge, IIT Kharagpur has given a report that the material that has used is substandard. So people of Ahmedabad, they came on road, and that bridge was declared not to be used. Now this kind of action was not taken in case of this bridge. Everybody knew since last 3 years that this bridge can collapse at any point of time. I can send you a video where district panchayat member is talking to an executive engineer, and an executive engineer is confirming, okay, yes boss, I know that this bridge can collapse any day. And if you see the structure, it is a finger type structure, having a single pillar. So single pillar type structure does not have carrying capacity of more than 20 tons. It was designed before 40 years to connect 2 small towns. It was not meant for this multi-axle vehicles. So everybody knew that this kind of accident, this kind of episode would happen any day, but nobody took it seriously. So I think it is a case of criminal irresponsible behavior, negligence, and it's a culpable homicide amounting to murder.
Sancheti, sir, Mr. Sancheti, your take on when you speak of structural audits, one says very loosely that the officials should carry out audits every now and then, should check these public spaces like these flyovers, bridges, to ensure that they're safe for people to ply. That Morbi bridge collapse is really still giving me the shivers. 140 people died. We are playing that visuals on our screens there. There were nearly 500 people on that bridge at that point. And the worst is that they had renovated that bridge recently, where they put tiles over that bridge to ensure it's smoother for people to stand on, without realizing that it added to the weight of that bridge. So it's unscientific, not thought of clearly, carrying out these shoddy works. We hear even the cables were loose of that Morbi bridge. So ideally, audits should be done periodically. In your sense and view, what is the process of a structural audit?
In fact, you said a right thing that periodical inspection is very important. Whenever we create a infrastructure in any town or in any city, it has to be regularly monitored. First of all, the planning and design of the particular bridge should be properly examined. Location of the bridge, right of way of the river, then it should have a earthquake resistance power, flood resistance power, then velocity of the water, then structural aspects, foundation, and regular inspection of the engineers. Engineers who should be the certified engineer, so that he knew about the techniques and technology and the structural aspects of that particular bridge. So registered engineer should inspect regularly the site of the bridge, and this should be the mandate of the concerned body. Just because of this, it was not regularly inspected, and that is the reason that this bridge is collapsed. So this procedure should be followed. Regular monitoring is very important.
When you speak of criminal liability, sir, who is criminally liable? You know, our journalist on the panel does say that this is homicide. I'd like to ask you, who is liable with regards to this case? In a situation like this, can bureaucratic negligence be allowed
I would say,
in this sense? And if it has, can they be pulled up?
Just because of the concerned authority, whether it is a public works department or the collector or the bureaucrats or the politician. This is fact that this was done because of their negligence. So they are the responsible, and directly we cannot say about the state government that they are responsible, but the concerned agency definitely is responsible.
Directly, you can't say state government is responsible. That's what you say. But I would definitely say the state government has to be held responsible here equally. But, sir, if you could give us your sense on how and why the government also here is involved in clearing these projects. Who gives these clearances? Ajay Umat?
Look, as you have rightly observed in your opening comments, we did not learn any lessons from Morbi nor from Taxasila episode where so many children, students died in Surat city, nor we learned any lessons from Palanpur or from Harni episode, where more than 12 school children they drowned in a river simply doing boating school trip. So the point is that government should find out somebody, and top bureaucrat or top person who is at the helm of affairs should be held responsible, because once you had a report which says that this bridge is not safe for use, or only light motor vehicles should be allowed on this bridge, and government has taken a decision that we will have a parallel new bridge. That means why you are constructing a new bridge parallel to this bridge, because that this bridge is structurally not safe to be used. In that case, at least they could have put barriers so that this kind of big vehicles, multi-axle vehicles would not have applied, and so many lives could have been saved. I think that government of the day is responsible for this. Ultimately, buck stops at their table. Simply you are suspending a executive engineer or a junior engineer does not serve the purpose. There is a moral liability should be owned by somebody.
And if the fishermen, the locals, the people residing in that area, just about everyone, people who are driving past that bridge are all saying that we knew this was a disaster in the making, I'm shocked to understand that the officials who knew very well that this was a situation still allowed vehicles to ply. That just shows no value for life, Ajay.
Bilkul, 100% I agree with you. What kind of business Collector Vadodara is doing? Why he did not issue notification that day? Today he is issuing notification for 3 other bridges that these 3 bridges should not be used. Then why he has not issued orders on that particular day when so many MLAs have written this letter? The recently, in plane crash, our ex-chief minister Vijay Rupani died. An MLA from that area told him that I am a Congress MLA. If you want, I am ready to resign from my post as MLA, but please do something for this bridge. This bridge may collapse any day. And we see the way, the total complete slab between two piers, how it has collapsed in the river. And mind you, before 3 months, this road and building department has got it repaired. What kind of repairment work they have done? This shows that, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Correct. And it seems like this disease is all over the country. Corruption is just rampant everywhere. And I'm showing you visuals of bridge collapses that have happened in just the last year. Nearly 15 collapses that have happened. Pune bridge collapse, you see there in 2025, what it looks like. I'm basically just going through those visuals there. In 2025, the Harang bridge collapse, Indrayani river bridge collapse in Maharashtra in 2025. Again, 25, Maharajganj bridge collapse. The number of episodes that have come to light in just the last year has really left us thoroughly shocked. And we're at this point wondering, what should change with immediate effect? Sancheti, I'll take your word on that as a town planner. What should change with immediate effect? The making of it, corruption, well, I understand that has to be nipped in the bud, but is there any other guideline that these contractors and government equally should come together to follow? Of course, consequences isn't there. When collapses like this happen, nobody takes accountability. There's nobody arrested. You hardly have any repercussion except for ex gratia amount given as compensation. Nothing really moves.
You are very much right that the bureaucrats, the concerned agency, the contractor and the state government, they are jointly responsible because regularly these bridges are collapsed in Gujarat. It means there is a big fault in either in construction or either in design or either in planning, either in execution, either in monitoring. So all the aspects which have been neglected by the concerned bureaucrats and authorities. It was the responsibility of the state government. They should have issued a specific notification for closing these unsafe bridges, but they have not also taken any interest in doing these things. So this was the fault of the...
Do you believe that India needs one independent national body for infrastructure safety oversight, one universal body who is responsible for the entire country's public infrastructure?
Yeah. One body, either...
I am actually showing visuals of a Bhopal bridge, a 90-degree bridge. Ajay, if you're seeing that, it was, all over news platforms, a 90-degree bridge. Without even thinking, the contractors have actually got their blueprints cleared by the officers. Bureaucrats have cleared this design. And they've built it also.
Yeah. 90-degree bridge, even in the roads, in the regular roads, we don't give any 90-degree because of the traffic problem. So
sir, I'm appalled. I'm really appalled. We're a country of engineers. We send the best of engineers abroad. What are we doing here?
Yeah, it is a total fault of the engineers or the designers or the planners. I don't think this should have not been happen in Bhopal. This is the fault of the technical engineers. We can say that they are technical persons.
Yeah, I just hang my head in shame because I really wonder if any responsibility will be pinned here. We hear 7 engineers who built this 90-degree bridge in Bhopal have been suspended. But what? Taxpayers' money down the drain? Thousands of crores spent on this very bridge to build it. And then you realize through an aerial view, a video that exposed the design, and then you realize that it's a faulty one.
Yeah, you're right.
It's come to this extent.
If we see the example of the London, they spent more time on planning and designing for any kind of infrastructure project, for any kind of building projects. So they take full time for planning, full time for designing. If it is faulty, they will not construct any building or create any kind of infrastructure, which I have seen personally in London. But here in India, the engineers and the bureaucrats, they are totally neglecting these important facts.
This is not neglect, sir. This is criminal. Ajay, last word from you.
Yes, you can say this is the criminal
This is
offense.
criminal.
So,
if you construct any bridge, any road, periodically, there is a third party inspection. If you construct a bridge, road and building department gives contract, and then there is a third party inspection, and then, there is a government regulatory body, engineering, Indian Road Building, Indian Road Congress, Indian Bridge Congress. They do this kind of monitoring. That means to save somebody's land going into that cut business, they must have given this 90-degree angle. Otherwise, no engineer worth his salt will do this kind of shady job. That means that somebody from top must have told him. The point I am making is that, in one case, if you fix responsibility and heads would roll, then something.
It sets an example, but not a. I can't think of a single case where public infrastructure has come down crashing, and the lower ranks to the higher ups have been pulled up for it.
Exactly.
Not a single case.
No punitive action. Otherwise, if you fix responsibility, and it should be the strictest punishment, then nobody would dare to allow such kind of shady job.
Thank you very much, Ajay and Mr. Sancheti, for joining us on this very important issue. We're really hoping to see some accountability. Let's see who's going to be pulled up for 12 people who've died with their vehicles plunging into that water for no fault of theirs. The bridge was shaky. They knew very well this could have been fixed, but alas. We're slipping into a short break. We'll be right back with the top news of the day. Stay with us.
ये गोल्डन का तेरे लिए मंगाओ मेरे नए म्यूजिक गॉगल्स मंगाओ क्या
ये नई गाड़ी कप होल्डर है ठोकी भी रख सकते हैं म्यूजिक भी
सेविंग्स की विद्या तो कोई तुझसे सीखे
कुछ बड़ा बनाना है तो पहले बचाओ फेडरल बैंक से रिश्ता बनाओ
A deep dive into what matters to you the most. Angles you won't find anywhere else. News that impacts your life.
Delivery boy has picked your order.
We know you are hungry. The message notification said it would take 30 minutes.
We can't just rely on a message.
Didn't you sell some shares yesterday?
Yes. So
did you check them?
I got a message.
You can't just rely on one message. If you make any transactions in the stock market, cross-check the SMS or email you receive from the stock exchange with your Demat account as well as bank statement.
Beta, when one's hungry, the brain doesn't function properly.
Women in West Bengal should be assured that it is a safe place for them because justice should be done, served cold, quickly, and it should be done in a way that it is transparent. Peace and prosperity cannot coexist with terrorism and proliferation of weapons of mass destruction in the hands of terror groups. These visuals are the most defining moment when India's defense minister called out China's bluff. The memories of emergency have again become very, very relevant. There is no excuse. It subverted our constitution.
Welcome back. Let's start with a fatal crash during a routine sortie. An Indian Air Force Jaguar fighter jet, in fact, went down near Rajasthan's Churu district, killing both pilots on board. The IAF has confirmed the tragedy, saying it deeply regrets the loss of lives and stands with the bereaved families. The twin-seater Jaguar jet had taken off from Suratgarh Air Base. Midway, the pilots reported a technical malfunction. They in fact managed to steer the aircraft away from civilian zones and ejected, but sadly did not survive. This marks the third Jaguar crash this year alone. In March near Ambala one happened, in April in Gujarat that killed Flight Lieutenant Siddharth Yadav. Over the decades now, Jaguars in IAF service have been more than 50 major and minor accidents. In fact, at least 50 accidents have been reported. Some of them have also been fatal. So the question really runs deep at this point. The Jaguar, which is a deep strike aircraft built for bombing, ground attack and close air support, isn't fit enough in modern India today. In fact, it was inducted in 1979. It's played a vital role in operations like Kargil and Balakot. Even today, it remains part of the IAF strike and training capability. But India stands alone here. All other countries, be it UK, France, Nigeria, Ecuador, Oman, have all retired their Jaguar fleets. But India still continues to maintain its Jaguar fleets. You have training sorties that are carried out for pilots, and multiple instances like this really begs us to ask, why is the IAF not retiring these Jaguar jets? While the upgraded Darin 3 versions are still in use, the IAF planes, at this point we understand IAF is considering to phase out Jaguars by 2030, but it seems like way too many accidents are happening right as of now for them to maybe rethink the timeline. As the Court of Inquiry investigates what went wrong, today's crash of course brings home a harsh reality that India is paying the price here for holding on to a legacy fleet for way too long. Right, let me shift our focus now to Mahagathbandhan protest that was launched in Bihar today. Massive scenes from Patna where India blocks Bihar Bandh call that turned into a full-blown political flashpoint. Congress MP Rahul Gandhi, RJD's Tejasvi Yadav hit the streets in protest, accusing the BJP of trying to tweak Bihar's voter list through the Election Commission's special intensive revision. Rahul Gandhi led the charge, warning the centre against inflating voters using what he called the Maharashtra model. The Election Commission must work for the law, not for BJP, he said. Tejasvi Yadav echoing the charge, saying BJP ki dadagiri nahi chalegi. But the BJP isn't backing down. Ravi Shankar Prasad's hit back responded, calling the revision here is necessary to remove infiltrators. And Deputy Chief Minister Samrat Chaudhary dismissed the protest as baseless, claiming the people of Bihar support the move. Let's hear in all the reactions that came in.
इलेक्शन कमीशन, मैं आपको साफ बोल रहा हूं, मैं हिंदुस्तान की जनता को और बिहार की जनता को कह रहा हूं कि महाराष्ट्र का चुनाव चोरी किया गया था, और जैसे महाराष्ट्र का चुनाव चोरी किया गया था, वैसे ही बिहार का चुनाव चोरी करने की कोशिश की जा रही है।
राहुल गांधी तेजस्वी सभी सड़कों पे घूम रहे हैं। ये उनका अधिकार है, मुझे कुछ नहीं बोलना है, लेकिन मुझे कुछ बड़ी बातें रखना है देश के सामने। अगर वोटर लिस्ट को लेकर के रिवीजन होता है तो आपको क्या परेशानी है?
जमीन पर नहीं जा सकते हैं, सिर्फ बोल सकते हैं। ये लोग कभी बूथ पर नहीं जाने वाले लोग हैं। कांग्रेस पार्टी बूथ कैप्चरर रही, राष्ट्रीय जनता दल उससे बढ़ के ज्यादा बूथ कैप्चरिंग करने का। ये लोग कभी मेहनत नहीं कर सकते। अरे भाई, जनता के बीच में जाओ। जनता ने 4 करोड़ लोगों ने फॉर्म जमा कर दिया, आई बेचारे आंदोलन में लगे।
Now, amid the show of unity here came visible cracks as well. Congress leader Kanhaiya Kumar was asked to get off the protest truck. Independent MP Pappu Yadav wasn't allowed on stage at all, later claiming he only showed up to protect Rahul Gandhi. Well, now with the Supreme Court set to hear the matter tomorrow, this row over Bihar's voter list has become a new flashpoint. The India bloc has found a fresh rallying point, but their internal drama is just as loud as the message they're sending out. Now, Malayalam's big film Manjumal Boys seems like is in troubled waters over profits of the film. Malayalam actor and producer Subin Shahir has broken his silence on reports linking him to a financial fraud case surrounding the blockbuster film Manjumal Boys, and he's now made one thing quite clear: he was not arrested. Manjumal Boys, one knows, is a standout film from the industry, an unexpected one, made over 200 crores, and now there's a lot of fight over its profits. Speaking to the media after being questioned by the Maradu police, Sobin has clarified earlier reports of his arrest, saying it was all false. He stated that he had already secured anticipatory bail from the High Court and was fully cooperating with the investigation. The case stems from a complaint filed by Siraj Waliatura, who claimed he invested 7 crores in the film's production in exchange for a promised 40% share on the profits. The film, which Sobin both produced and acted in, he basically was both the producer and an actor in it, went on to earn nearly 240 crores worldwide, becoming the highest grossing Malayalam film in 2024 and the second highest ever in the industry. But when neither the money nor the profits came through, Siraj approached the court. On the court's direction, the police registered an FIR. Police have now alleged that the accused conspired to cheat the complainant. In response, the High Court directed that Sobin and the other producers appear for questioning, but ordered that they should not be taken into custody. The court also dismissed a request from the police to allow custodial interrogation and rejected a plea from the producers to quash the case. Police have now questioned Sobin for 2 consecutive days. His co-producers, father Babu Shahir and producer Sean Anthony, were also summoned. Sobin says that he has submitted all necessary documents asked. There's no confusion right now. They haven't asked me to come again, but will inform if need be. Of course, he's saying and stating these things because a huge fan base for that film, Manjumal Boys. Investigation does continue. The High Court also observing this case. We're going to take you through what happens as it pans out. Now, radicalization inside prison. This is the first that I've heard of it. Radicalization inside a high security prison, a chilling first. The National Investigative Agency has made 3 big arrests in 2023 Lashkar-e-Taiba prison radicalization case, exposing how deep that rot really runs. Among those who are caught here are Dr. Nagraj, prison psychiatrist, Chand Pasha, a city armed reserve cop, and Anis Fatima, the mother of absconding accused Junaid Ahmed. A doctor who smuggled phones, imagine. A doctor smuggled phones into jail. A policeman leaked prisoners' movement details for money. And a mother who passed terror instructions from a dreaded Lashkar commander to her son. The man pulled strings from behind bars. T. Nasir, Lashkar's South India commander, the mastermind of the 2008 Bengaluru blasts. From inside Parapana Agrahara, he was allegedly running a full-fledged radicalization racket and a recruitment network where he trained under trials, passing orders, coordinating with operatives on the outside. In fact, this case first came to light during July 2023 CCB raid in Kodigehalli. Pistols, bullets, walkie-talkies, LET literature, mobile phones linking back to Nasir, all that was found. Now the NIA says Dr. Nagaraj helped him run that full network, smuggling in phones into his cell. Policeman Chand Pasha allegedly leaked Nasir's escort route for cash. And that lady Fatima, she acted as a key messenger, enabling fund transfers, channeling his orders from the outside. After multiple raids in Bengaluru and Kolar, the NIA has recovered cash, gold, digital devices and sensitive documents. All 3 have now been remanded to NIA custody until July 14th. All right, finally, Trump's trade war, the fresh trade war. US President Donald Trump has doubled down on his threat to impose a 10% tariff on all BRICS nations, including India, claiming the alliance was set up to hurt the United States and destroy the dollar. Therefore, even India will be tariffed. Just a day after the White House called the BRICS bloc a growing threat to American interests, Trump has said countries that challenge the dollar status as the world's standard currency will now face steep trade penalties. Let's hear it.
Yeah. If they aligned with anti-American policies,
10%, George.
that would be India, Brazil,
They
Russia,
certainly have to pay 10% if they're in BRICS. Because BRICS was set up to hurt us. BRICS was set up to degenerate our dollar and take our dollar as the standard, take it off as the standard. And that's okay if they want to play that game, but I can play that game too. So anybody that's in BRICS is getting a 10% charge. The dollar, you ever hear the expression, dollar is king? The dollar is king. We're going to keep it that way, okay? And I'm just saying, if people want to challenge it, they can, but they're going to have to pay a big price. And I don't think any of them are willing to pay that price.
Now, in his fiery statement, Donald Trump there declaring, if they want to play that game, I can play that game too. If anybody tries to destroy the dollar, they will have to pay a big price. Well, that's Donald Trump. Warning came as BRICS leaders, including India, gathered in Rio for high-stakes strategic talks. The group has been working on alternative currency mechanisms to reduce dependence on the dollar, a move that Trump says directly threatens America's economic standing. Meanwhile, Trump has extended a pause on wider global tariff hikes but kept his August 1st deadline in place, meaning Japan, South Korea and 12 other nations could see tariffs spike to 25% if new trade deals aren't struck in time. The White House has already started sending out letters to national leaders warning them to come to the table or face what Trump calls fair but tough trade terms. All right, let me quickly cut across to our big story as we delve into the assault that Shiv Sena MLA carried out on a canteen staffer. The ruling Shiv Sena's MLA Sanjay Gaikwad today slapped an employee of a canteen at the MLA's hostel in Mumbai after complaining that he didn't like the food he was served. He says the food was of bad quality and therefore he decides to trash this man and then justifies saying what he did was right. This video of the incident, which took place at the Akashvani MLA hostel, has gone viral on social platforms, of course, for all the right reasons, condemning the MLA for this violent act. The Buldana MLA said the food served to him was of poor quality and he will raise this issue during the ongoing monsoon session of the Maharashtra legislature. He says that this was the food served to MLAs and therefore that man deserves a whacking. Well, he says he has no regrets, that someone has to do it, and he had complaints that he got earlier as well about poor quality food, and therefore he decided to take this issue on his own hands. This MLA is a habitual offender. Last year in March, a video of Mr. Gaikwad thrashing a youth with a stick went viral. There you have it. However, he still continues to be an MLA. Well, politicians slapping IAS officers or IPS officers or some duty officers are now becoming very common. Here you have now canteen staff and just about anybody who's not as powerful as a politician are really the one at the receiving end, bearing the brunt. And today it was a canteen staffer who very humbly made the food, provided it to the MLA, but the MLA didn't like it. He said poor quality and then thrashed him. And look at the punches he's blowing at him. These politicians really seem to be getting away. And what's shocking is that he says, I will do it over and over again because the poor quality of food was poor and therefore I had to fix it and I will thrash him over and over again if this is repeated. Then, of course, you know, one would ask, for all the poor, shoddy job that politicians do, bad roads, terrible governance, putting public safety at risk, should then the public also thrash the politicians? Well, they are supposed to be serving the people, but what we see here is of absolute shame. Joining me to give a little insight as to how to deal with politicians who are thuggish and those who are currently in power, all the more have this clout. Jayant Mainkar, political analyst. We also have Dr. Rachna Khanna Singh, clinical psychologist. Chandrasekhar Jha, spokesperson of the Shiv Sena. I will bring in the spokesperson of the Shiv Sena first. Mr. Jha, what's your justification to this?
What Mr. Sanjay Gaikwad has done is not justifiable. And
so will the Shiv Sena suspend him?
See, it is up to the party because I am speaking on behalf of the Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray. So what they will be doing, because maximum of their MLAs and MPs are having their criminal cheating and all this thing. So basically, if you see the Eknath Shinde group, majority of the MLAs and MPs are having criminal cases. Even if you see, our party was broken, and under what pretext it was broken. So these things continue with their attitude, with their things, but we are not going into that. But it is a condemnable act, it is a criminal act, and it's a hooliganism which he has done, and he's been continuing to do so. Eventually, the police could not stop him, and he is very upper hand. He's having an upper hand in his assembly area, so he is very powerful, and I don't think that he will be getting any kind of punishment.
For the split, he was part of the same Shiv Sena. We see that he's a habitual offender. He's beaten a man previously with a stick as well. We played those visuals there. What really stops the party in power there to act on their errant MLAs like that? Jayant Mainkar, would you want to step in on that? This man is a habitual offender, but he still gets a free pass.
Well, this has happened now, but earlier also in 2014 in Maharashtra, southern New Delhi, again that time United Shiv Sena MPs did the same thing because they were not happy with chapati. Prior to that, a lift which has got the order to go up, and one Shiv Sena MLA said, I want to go down because I have diabetes and I have to check it. This happened in Maharashtra legislature. I was covering it. And as the lift has got the order, so lift first went up and then came down. For that delay, he slapped the liftman. See, I have given all the examples, irrespective of the party which is governing. My question is this: why the ruling party, ruling government is not taking the action? In Maharashtra, way back in 1964, one MLA from Yavatmal district named Jambuwant Dhote threw a paperweight to the speaker. Fortunately, it didn't hit, and he was saved. Otherwise, it could have been anything that might have happened. What happened with Mr. Dhote? He was just thrown out of assembly. Again, he went to polls, got re-elected, and had a career of 22 years in parliament and legislature. Real problem is this: such things, any assault is a criminal offense, irrespective of the party.
Yeah, and look at him justifying, saying, I will do it over and over again. What gives him the right to do, who gives him the right to bring justice for whoever? He says that I want to ensure that people get good quality food. Why has he taken the taker?
I think what you said is more correct. Then, for all the roads, should we thrash the PWD union and state ministers of all the entire country? Because the road condition of entire country, Maharashtra, we know everything. Yesterday or today only, a bridge collapsed in Gujarat. So shall we go and thrash the minister over there? The food quality, then in every MLA hostel, there is a committee consisting of ruling party MLAs, opposition MLAs, that should be shown to them. That matter could go up to Food and Drug Administration, to the Parliamentary Affairs Minister. Is this that you are slapping the poor class 4 employee who may be on just
they're not equals. The man is certainly not as powerful as a politician. He apologizes multiple times, but yet the MLA continues to throw blows at him. Dr. Rachna, do you believe that this is an issue of rage? It seems like Mr. Gaikwad, the MLA here, has a real temper issue. Time and again, he's seen assaulting people who are not of power to him, not equal to him.
Absolutely. So if we understand today, anger has become a disease. Unfortunately, with the with the kind of lifestyles that people are leading, there's very high stress around. Their anger seems to have become a proper disorder now, and with power, where we see people who are in power. Power comes with responsibility. Power should come with empathy also. With power comes responsibility, and specifically people who are sitting on seats who are,
you spoke about stress, but I think it's less to do with stress and more to do with power right up to the head.
Absolutely.
This is
absolutely
drunk on power, I should say.
Absolutely. So, anger is becoming an epidemic. Actually, in the today while you talked about rage, anger is becoming an epidemic now. But this is beyond that. This is a powerful person not taking responsibility for his actions, and also this is something called displacement of anger. That means I am already frustrated. I am already angry at something else, and I tend to take it out on somebody who is lower in authority, where I can exhibit my power to. Unfortunately, for people, power translates into anger. Power translates into being stronger. When people think that they are stronger, they want to exhibit it by this, which is the absolute wrong way. Power actually comes from compassion. That is what people are amiss over here.
I will end with Chandrasekhar. Would you ask for his suspension? Will the Shiv Sena UBT camp demand for his suspension?
He should be behind bars. He should not be suspended only. He should be behind bars, and all the cases which he has done, he should be punished.
That's it. I think that's all. We rest our case on that. You have the food authorities there checking samples of that canteen, but what happens to the police actually not taking this case up suo moto? Just registering a complaint is not enough. This man should be arrested. Let's hope that happens. Thanks very much, all of you, for joining us on this. All right, on that note, I wrap this edition right here. You do have a great night. I will be back same time, same place tomorrow.
This is the tribe of your dreams. Introducing the all-new Skoda Kailak. Own your dream.